the AI project is not finishing as a one simple product at the end. Yeah. It will be always maintaining for now from this what we know today, and the budget needs to include the buffer for the future, for the maintenance of the solution.
You need to keep it grounded, not to promise things you won't be able to deliver, because this could be an end of your AI program and AI strategy.
The technology is changing very, very, very fast. We had those examples when someone started to build a AI tool, started an AI project, and after the half of a year, they could, put it to the bin, because the technology already was discovered by some other company, and it's you can buy it just on the market. You don't have to build it by your own.
Konnichiwa. Welcome to the AI Automation Dojo, the show where we look at the modern project management and wonder if the Gantt chart should just be replaced with a Ouija board. Today we're wading into the treacherous waters of AI project delivery. Where the project plan is more of a strong suggestion and the deliverables occasionally develop a mind of their own. And to guide us, we've brought in a special guest, a real-life delivery manager who has stared into the AI abyss and lived to tell the tale. We will be talking about projects where the requirements are a moving target. The key component, the AI model, is basically a black box with a "Here be dragons" sign on it, and success is often defined as, well, it didn't set the server on fire this time. I'm your host, Andrzej Kinastowski, one of the founders of Office Samurai, where we believe the most important part of any project plan is a clearly marked emergency exit. So, if you've ever tried to explain a confidence score to a room full of executives who just want a simple yes or no answer, this episode may be your therapy session. Now, grab your favorite katana or a very, very detailed risk register, and let's get to it. Today, we are joined by Dagmara Sysuła, who is a delivery manager at Office Samurai. She joined us 4 years ago, and she has become a person that basically handles all of our delivery, giving me time to do things like podcasts. Dagmara, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Andrzej. Thank you for inviting me here.
We will be talking about AI projects. Tell me, why are you the one that I'm talking to about AI projects?
Because we are trying to deliver AI projects, and I think that this is very important now to know how to do this, or just to try to do this in some way, and to be aware why it might be difficult, or why it might finish with a success or not, and which way is best to provide AI projects. I think that, the AI, actually the podcast is the proof of it. It's a very hot topic right now, and everyone wants to touch this technology somehow. But we do not know yet how to do this properly sometimes, or just we try to do this in the way we know already, the methods we know, with the methodology we know. However, it's not such easy as we thought before.
So how does this differ? Because I also have a feeling that those projects, at least at this point in time, are quite different from what we're already doing. How or why are they different from, say, a classical RPA project?
Yeah. Let's say that in general, we have in IT, we have mostly those two ways of providing projects, of managing the projects. This is the waterfall way, when you have everything structured, where you have a milestones, when this is predictable, what is the next step. And RPA definitely is a one part of waterfall. Why? Because this is usually short project, maximum 300 hours, and sometimes, many times it's shorter. And you have like the very, very strict steps. There's the analysis, there's the development, There's testing, deployment, and maintenance. That's all. 5-6 steps, depends on how to split it. In Agile, it's different because you are working in the sprints. You discover something, you're checking, making retro, and going in those kind of cycles. But it's also somehow predictable because you're providing some project. In AI, you need to be more focus on experiments. That's why Agile is definitely best way. However, you still need to manage somehow with your budget, for example, with your stakeholders, with your sponsors. That's why you also need to look on the waterfall as well. So that's why we need to mix it a bit and just to find out a new methodology probably. For now, we are calling it like a hybrid, for example, because we are experimenting. We use experiments in an agile way. And actually here, the part of Agile Kanban is absolutely perfect because Kanban is used mostly in the maintenance projects because so you have a backlog or just some data. Later, you are taking it into the actions. You can do those experiments here. And after this, you are making some kind of next steps regarding the testing, deployment, and reviewing this and scoring. What is very important, the scoring is before the deployment. And for AI, I think this is very important moment that to be sure that this what we prepared is ready to be implemented. And of course, you are also don't do this as a big, huge waterfall project, waterfall project, just in small pieces, as well. And what I would say from the Office Samurai perspective, we implemented a few years ago retrospective to all of our projects we provide to our clients. So always your project will be finished with retrospective. And what is very, very, very important in the retrospective, and I like this part from the Agile methodology very much. We are sitting together and the the delivery team, because we have analysts, analytics, we have developers, leaders, architects, whoever touched this project. And we have a space for talking very honestly about everything what happened, about the good things, bad things, what we learned already, what we did wrong during this project, and very, very important, something what I really love, is the actions. What we can do better or different during the next project, or what we learned already and we can implement in the future. And I think that in AI projects, this is absolutely crucial to have some kind of retrospective after the end of the project, and just to know what we learned, because mostly all of those AI projects, I think, those projects might be experimentals or just discovering something new.
Yeah, I think retrospective is something that when you introduced, because it was you who introduced it into our organization, it was a little bit hard for some people to do at the beginning. I think it requires a good mindset, no blame culture, kind of the mindset of let's see what's going well, what we could improve. But in time they have become business as usual. And for simpler projects or projects where everything went well, those meetings, they are still worth having, but you don't really learn that much from them. It's just kind of our way of making a summary.
Yes, but this is very important, that to have always the moment when you know that something finished. Any single
you need
part.
Exactly. For a project. But for the projects where things were maybe a little bit more hectic, when something went wrong, it's extremely important that we do this, because otherwise we don't learn from those mistakes or maybe problems that we had, right? And this plays a crucial role in just being better and better over time, right? And I think when it comes to AI projects, because they are kind of way more new and way less predictable, this makes those summaries, those wraps up so important, right? Because there is a lot to talk about when we wrap an AI project up, right?
Yes. And it's also important to split the project on the smaller pieces and to make this retro about after this small first circle or the second, that to be sure that we are following in the proper way. It's also important then that to give our thoughts and our feedback already to the business, for example, or to the sponsor, what is extremely important, because usually the companies, sponsors, business, whoever, they need from us some just very strict results, where we are, what are the next steps, when we can see some kind of results. And this is difficult sometimes in AI projects because those, as you mentioned, those are not predictable. Sometimes we are thinking that we have some kind of plan, but it doesn't work, or it's changing, or the technology is changing, and we need to change the way to provide the project. So that's why it's also important to have this pit stop and to give some kind of feedback to the sponsor, or just to the manager, to the person who is giving us a budget, and to all people who are involved in this project as well.
Yep.
It's this kind of checkpoint, the retrospective. It's perfect for AI projects in every single weeks, days, whatever that the project is going.
Yeah, especially when things don't work as we expected them to. We have some recent examples of projects where we started quite a long time ago. Some of those projects can take months, and when we were starting, a certain set of technologies has been available. And during the project, new technologies or new ways of using those technologies popped up. And as painful as it is, sometimes we need to stop and ask ourselves, okay, maybe it was at the time when we were starting, it was the right choice to use this technology, but in the meantime, we have a different one. Maybe we do need a bit of a remake. Maybe we do need a step back. Because AI technologies, and not only Gen AI, right?
Yeah.
Those AI technologies that we use so much for like UiPath's document understanding or communications mining, they are evolving really fast too. So I think it's completely right that you don't only do a retro at the end, you need to have those stops during the project to think, okay, are we doing the right thing?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It's something what we are also learning at this moment, because we have a few AI projects now. And what I like very much is that the needs of having a retro is coming from our developers, firstly. They see or they feel that, hey guys, we have like few misunderstanding here, or just the needs are different, the possibilities are different. Maybe we can sit and talk about it across the retrospective. Maybe can we do this right now? And for me, it's like the part of the culture which I was trying to run. It's absolutely fantastic, because this is just the understand the project needs, and they understand the project flow, and it's really amazing that it's coming from the from the team. Not always, of course, sometimes also from the manager or the leader, architect, whoever. But many times it comes from developers. Yeah.
So you mentioned in terms of tools that we use to run those projects. You mentioned Kanban, which is a very basic tool, but it just solves so many problems.
Exactly.
And in projects, in operations, basically in everything, right? You mentioned the retros. What else? Are there any other pieces of tools or pieces of methodology that you think help AI projects a lot?
Yeah, I mentioned before about the waterfall, and I think that we absolutely need to include it, because we need to communicate somehow with the sponsors, and the people who doesn't understand, people who don't understand the AI project or just the technology, because it's complicated, and you need to have a very, very great technical understanding that to know why it's happening. But the sponsor, they have a need to have AI, some AI projects in the organization.
It's in the targets for sure.
Exactly, almost everywhere, and they have a budget and they have some kind of milestones. Yeah, they also need to report it on some steer call to their supervisors, to their directors. How is the project going on? So that's why we also need a piece of waterfall here, that to be sure that we, for example, we did not use the full budget and where we are, and just to make some kind of reviews. If we are able to provide and what we are able to provide in this period of time and in this amount and with these resources. So
it may be seen as a nuisance to have to do this, but usually customers do not have unlimited budgets and unlimited time to do things. Everybody has some deadlines and targets and all those annoying little things that we have to deal with when working. And so we cannot just say it's going to be done when it's done. We need to have this waterfall part to communicate with the stakeholders and to kind of do also self-diagnosis. Where are we? Are we going at the speed that we wanted? Do we want to pivot? Do we want to change technology? Are we on our way to achieve something? Right?
Yeah. And maybe what is also important when we are talking about the budgeting, this is maybe very important for all sponsors. It's not the AA projects from this what we see. It's not something what is the direct product you will have, at least. It's a long maintenance process. And once you are deciding, or when you decide to have AA project or just AA tool, AA solution, you need to know that maybe in a half of a year, the technology will change so much that we will need to change something across this project, that the models are learning all the time, so that you need to maintain it somehow, that we need the time of your business to learn, for example, the model, like it is, for example, in document understanding or in the communications mining. You need to help us. So it's not something that you are putting the money on a table and in 3, 6, 7 months you have a product. No, it's not something like this. Of course, we can distinguish here, for example, the AA projects, and just to be maybe more aware, what does it mean? Because it's the same like with the IT project. We have an IT project, and what does it mean? You can have plenty different things after the AA projects, and by myself, I recognize at this moment 3 or 4 main projects in AA projects that we have on the market. The first one is usually POC or just the experimental projects. We want to try something, just taste it, How does it work in our environment? What does it mean to AI, How it works with our tools, with our applications, with our teams. That's why we usually spend a little bit money, or just we are asking some vendors to do it for us for free, because it's also happening. And this project is going through the 2 or maximum 3 weeks with some small results, and then we have some feeling, what the AI can do for us. Later we have like the biggest projects. This is the deployment one, where we have the solution. And I think that today we were talking mostly about this long, difficult experimental projects, which are very difficult to manage, but are also the most, those projects are giving us to the organization the biggest value. And the third one, I would say that I see today, this is the buying AI tool already, like for example, Copilot, and implementing it to our teams, to our environment. But it's always like with any single tool or application, you are buying it, but you need to know how to use it. And when we are thinking about implementing copilots or just tools which are on the market, we need to be aware that we need to by also a knowledge, or just some trainings to show to people how to use those tools, that they use it in a proper way,
it's implementation is not just buying the licenses and installing it in people's computers, right? They need to know how to use it. They need help, especially at the early stages. They need help understanding how it can help them and how to use it before it actually starts giving you benefits. Because I know a lot of big organizations that would buy a lot of licenses for something and just give it to people and expect them to use it. And in the end, most of those people will not, right?
Yeah.
But how can they, like, say you go with Copilot, which is Microsoft Copilot has been very popular lately. It's quite easy to implement from the security perspective because you already have a big agreement with Microsoft. So a lot of companies go with that. What do you think they should do to actually make it worthwhile when they decide, okay, let's buy Copilot for everyone or for a big group of people?
Yeah, it's some kind of part of the change management, I think, because first thing you need to teach people how to use it. So trainings, workshops are extremely important, that to show people how to use a new toy in our in our sandbox, which is really cool. Also, there's plenty times we have some kind of rules how to use it in our organization. So to have it is also pretty good. But it's great to have, for example, some ambassadors, some champions of AI, people who are showing their own examples, how they have used it. So it's almost similar like that was with RPA. We need it. This is the part of the change management, on changing the company culture, or changing the thinking. That to have someone who already touched the tool, and they have some interesting discovered, and sometimes very easy, very simple actions that they made, in for example in Copilot for lots of people.
This kind of. I had a discussion with Dominic here on the podcast, and we've been talking about how those technologies, they come in cycles, and it's because. You rightfully said it's the same story that we had with RPA, especially citizen development, right? And then before that, we had the same thing with like VBA and AutoHotkey and this kind of tools. But I think it's really good because if we have done our homework in the previous cycle, we know what to do now. We know how to deal with this AI. We just need to put the effort to actually make it happen. So you talked about 3 kinds of AI projects. What's the fourth?
Yeah, we can split it, deeper and deeper on, or just on the shorter parts. However, I'm thinking about the strategy. A lot of companies thinking right now about the AI project, or just the AI, about AI strategy. What we should do as an organization that to be part of this technology run, and I would say this is the fourth one which I see currently, especially with our clients with whom we work with, and I think that this is the long story. I do not want to go too deep very much here. However, it's very important that to know what do we want to implement, what kind of tools, and with what kind of resources are we going to work with? Should we build our team? Should we take some kind of vendor? What is our policy telling us about the AI? What is telling us our culture? Because not every how to prepare the team, how to provide the ethical AIs, because there are like lots of factors regarding the creating the strategy for the organization, but it's extremely important that to not run the project without the whole strategy and without the changing the culture and changing the thinking and the organization.
But this is something that we, again, learning from mistakes a lot of companies did with RPA, you need to do all those things kind of in parallel, because I remember from the early RPA days, I remember companies that would spend 9 months coming up with a strategy for RPA and not doing any actual, not even POCs in the meantime, because we have to have the strategy first, right? So it is something that builds over time.
Exactly.
And also the results of the early projects, they need to affect the strategy. You need to make informed choices.
Yeah, absolutely. It should work in a parallel, because once you build a strategy, you need to also have some kind of knowledge what is possible in our organization, what are our first fails, also, or successes across AI's project. So absolutely important to have the strategy, but to not start the strategy first, because it's not that way.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to some consulting to prepare one for you. And by the way, they're probably gonna generate half of it with Gen AI. Daga, I know that you have come up with like a set of truths or rules for managing the projects. Tell me, I'm really eager to hear what do you think those would be?
Yeah, it also based on our experience and what I see across our projects and clients' thoughts. Maybe it's not something I'm not discovering a new world here. I see. However, it's part of kind of change management and some of points we need to remember about. So. Not sure if I remember all of those 10. However, the first one definitely is point to manage the talents. Manage talents. Yeah, you need to know what kind of capabilities, what kind of resources you have on your own. Also, our experience is that we really took people from the different projects who were like stuck there, but we know them, or our leaders know them better, and they told us, hey guys, this guy or she or he, that will be the perfect person because he has this skills. So first of all, you need to build a team. Second, also to train those people. That to build the talent, this talent group, and to have it.
But this also comes down to those technologies. They are extremely complex technologies. But the tools that allow you to use those technologies aren't that complicated, right?
That's right. Sometimes just you don't need, very big brain developer or architect. Of course, it's great to have this person, but you need many times and very good analytics. And I think that this is something what is the market going right now. There are also lots of advertisement where you don't have to be a developer to start work with AI and blah blah blah, which is true, because you need to communicate with the tool, and this is something what I love really much with generative AI, that I need to know how to communicate. It is something what I remember a few years or months ago when I was teaching our developers how to write a proper email. I do not do this anymore, probably because we have Gen AI, but I need to know how to communicate with Gen AI, how to write a proper prompt, for example, which is really cool because I have to do this with my natural language. And it's something what's driving me very much because, I was studying I was studying the Ukrainian language and Russian language, and always the playing with the words and playing with the with a language is something what's very, very cool for me. And that's why I like Gen AI very much, because it's some kind of play with words.
You no longer, the barrier of entry is no longer you have to be like really good at mathematics and statistics and so on. It helps a lot. It helps when you understand how those algorithms work, what they can and cannot do. But you can be a really good power user without this kind of knowledge.
Exactly. With your natural language, and I like it very much. And also, once you have some kind of analytical thinking, so that's why business analysts are perfect to start to work with AI. And I think this is the huge opportunity for them for now in the market. So, and if I want to jump to the second rule with the list of golden rules of working with AI, it's something what you already mentioned today. It's that to try to find some kind of AI champions and to show them up, on our environment, and they should be some kind of apostles of AI, but it's great for them as they feel to be appreciated, and also it's great for the change management and for changing the culture across the organization, and for the different users, because it's always great to have a colleague who will show me how to use Copilot, or just how to write a macro before it. So it's this kind of stuff. Another one rule, I think that is especially for the managers, that to manage the expectations of the sponsors, that they will be aware that, okay, we have a budget, we have some kind of goals, but be aware that maybe we'll not reach the goal, or maybe across this project, maybe we will change the way, and to show them that this is not the very strict, very straightforward way, if we want to have an AI solution, we need to take a risk.
Those projects are kind of R&D in a way that you're not sure whether, because those technologies are so fresh and we don't have that much experience, we don't really know. We can think something will work, but there may be surprises. So
that's right. So the fourth one is learning, and we need to push a lot of effort also to learn ourselves, and that to teach to teach our teams, to have some kind of workshops, just some learning program that to understand what's the technology is coming with, and what we can do with the technology. And so I think that this is like the very important part, and it's something what we really need in our organization right now. That's to just to learn, how to
learn, to share this knowledge, and to kind of observe what's going on, because with the technology changing so rapidly right now, what you know today may be obsolete tomorrow, because there's this new model or this new way of doing things, and so it does take a lot of effort to keep up with what's going on.
And even it's very, very difficult, to run as fast as the technology is changing, because for me personally, it's sometimes it's too fast. We had like the new model of ChatGPT. Okay, we have a new model, and like in a few months it's changing. It just I didn't have a chance maybe to familiar very well with the differences and so on, and it's already changed. And like, oh God, again, and it's difficult. It really needs it costs a lot of effort from us.
But also we need to remember that we don't have to use every new technology. Like ChatGPT version 5 was a big disappointment for a lot of people, and a lot of, probably most of our automations, we on purpose keep on version 4.0 because it seems to be working with the things that we do. It seems to be working better. It seems to hallucinate less. So we have to remember to keep up with what's going on, but it doesn't mean we have to upgrade every time there's a new technology.
Right. But we need to be aware, and we need to have this knowledge.
We need to make an informed decision.
Exactly. To have it. So another thing is it's something what came to me. What comes to me maybe unacceptable, because we really need to have a clear data before we start to do before we start to have a AI project. Once we have a mess in our data with our documents, sometimes AI is help us to clean it up. However, how you fit the model, those kind of results you can get it. So if you have like the mess in your data, unstructured data, it's much more difficult to train the model properly and to have a proper answers later. Once we are thinking about the Gen AI tools.
And we have a lot of mess in the bigger the organization, the bigger the mess basically is. And it is a problem. Gen AI is better at dealing with unclean data than, like, say, machine learning, right? But it still is a big problem, and we need to be able to manage it. We're never going to have 100% clean data, but we need to kind of strive for it, right?
Yeah, and it's very interesting because, sometimes we think that maybe structuring the world or just keeping the order in somewhere, it's a bullshit. Yeah, we shouldn't do this. Just let's go further. But unfortunately, it's really important that to also maintain the models properly. And this is the next point, actually, the maintenance. I also mentioned already here about it, but it's very important for all managers and all sponsors. The AI project, it's not finishing as a one simple product at the end. Yeah. It will be always maintaining for now, from this what we know today, and the budget needs to include the buffer for the future, for the maintenance of the solution.
Yeah, and the part of this maintenance is also because especially with Gen AI technologies, testing is quite hard because you get non-deterministic results. Yeah. So you cannot just even if you have great testing scenarios, you cannot just then compare string to string or integer to integer. You actually need to, usually we would use another LLM engine to compare the results and to see whether it's still producing the desired result. And whenever anything changes, say, I don't know, you add more documents to your AI, or you change the prompt, or you change the model, you need to have a way of testing it thoroughly to make sure that it doesn't get worse over time. Yeah. Because this is what lack of maintenance does to a solution. It gets worse and worse, and finally everybody says we're not going to use it, and you have to shut it down, which is not what most companies would like to be doing.
Yeah, right? Definitely. Testing is something what differentiates. Okay,
differentiates
the AI projects from the different projects that we have on the market. IT projects, RPA projects, or some others. Yeah, so definitely a lot of testing is needed for to run the AI projects in the production environment. I was thinking also about the culture thing, or just the very humanistic point of view. So I think that all of those AI projects, whatever it is, simple copilot, POC, or big deployment, we need to be sure that that this is ethical, that we are transparent in communication within our organization, that everyone, because there is the thinking that AI will kill us, or I know, just okay. There is the thinking that AI will take our job, or just these people are just a bit afraid because it's something new. It might be something dangerous sometimes for someone somehow. Also, we have lots of science fiction stories where the AI grabbed the world and people have nothing to say. And that's why we need to be sure that what we are communicating, what is that we need to know what the tool will bring us, how we should work with this, and we should very clearly communicate it to the organization that people be saved, and that they feel saved.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different theories going around the market. I am myself pretty sure that in the perspective of 20, 30 years, it is going to take a lot of people's jobs, right? But in the next 2 or 3 or even 5, that's not going to be the scale that everybody is thinking about, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I have always thinking like this, that when the technology is changing, also the professions are changing. Have you ever heard like 10, 15 years ago about the boat shepherd? It's always yeah. So for now we have it in RPA. Or for example, about the influencer. Please ask any kids in school who they want to be today. definitely they would tell you that they want to be a YouTuber,
profession of the future.
Exactly. We don't know, what would happen in the future. So maybe also, like, for example, we have today the professions which are connected with AI, like the machine learning engineer and business analyst who are needed here. So I think that
I think it should be different.
It will be different. Definitely, the world will change, but also I believe that there will be a lot of space and for human, and probably some new professions that we even can't imagine today.
I think an influencer is a really interesting example, because this is a job that was created like not that long ago, and it could disappear pretty quickly, because with all the technologies generating video and text, it's actually something that could be automated probably already in big time. So it may be one of those jobs that kind of started and then in 15 years it disappears. Maybe.
I can't say no. Not sure. However, I still, believe in humans' creations, and that our mind is full of different, of many different ideas, and I really fingers crossed for people.
Let's be hopeful.
Yeah. Coming back to those points, I also was thinking about some measurements and KPIs. We always need to be sure that how to prove that something goes good or bad, and we also need to know how to measure the impact of AI in our environment, for example with KYPs, ROI. So we also need to learn, or just to know what we should count on, what we should look for example, if this is accuracy or this is some different thing regarding the solution. So this is
because we need to show it. Contrary to how I would like it, we don't just do those projects for fun, but we actually have to show something for it. So if you want to get the money for the next project and then another one and then another one, you do have to show that it actually affects your business in a positive way. So you have to think about the metrics that will allow you to do that. And sometimes it is hard, especially when you design a tool that is helping a lot of people, but only a little, each of them only a little bit, then it is hard to measure without specialized tools. And you need to find ways to present it to show that per saldo, it actually makes sense for the organization. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So there are lots of different factors, but we need to learn how to do this. Of course, every single AI tool might have some different factors, or just measure. Like we can measure it in the different way. Sure. So that's why we need to be aware. What do we want to reach from this? I was mentioning about the ethical part of our communication, but in general, I think that the communication and thinking about changing the culture and to be open on this in our organization is also very important. And also, this is the part of the change management across actually, I think that the building the strategy as well in the organization. So this point of the communication and being very transparent, it's again. Quite important, and also the managing of the expectations, because sometimes those are very, very high. And I think that this is the communication across every single part of people who are interested in AI project. It's very important that to have those expectations have the under control, hopefully, and also people fearness maybe, or just some questions just to be open, that to communicate how it works, and what we are going to reach in the project.
That is true, and as you said, the expectations can be extremely high, and people go to conferences and they listen to consultants basically selling them bullshit, that things that will be possible at a certain point in time, I'm sure, but today there's just no way. A lot of those things still don't work, right?
It might be only idea, for today.
Yeah. Or they go on LinkedIn and somebody shows a demo where something worked once, but they don't know that expecting it to work if you have a few thousand items to process to work flawlessly every time is unrealistic, right? So we do have to, on one hand, you want to hype people up because you want them to look forward to those projects. You want them to give you budgets and time and resources. But on the other hand, you rightfully say you need to keep it grounded, not to promise things you won't be able to deliver, because this could be an end of your AI program and AI strategy. Right?
Exactly. It might be difficult also just sometimes to define our success or just or our expectations across the AI project. So we need to be very, very careful here. So, and I think that the last point of which I had in last time, it's to be open on a change. I also mentioned today about it. However, it's extremely important. The technology is changing very, very, very fast. We had those examples when someone started to build a AI tool, started an AI project, and after the half of a year, they could, put it to the bin, because the technology already was discovered by some other company, and it's you can buy it just on the market. You don't have to build it by your own. So we need to know that everything is changing, and the world is changing. The AI, the technology is changing, and if we run the project and in the middle, it will discover if that it doesn't make sense to provide it. So then we need to think if we should stop it, change it, or just to follow, because maybe we have some other benefits just to finish it.
That is true, and it kind of makes me think about maybe if you are the kind of an organization that always wants to keep things safe, that wants to, when you introduce something, you want to be 100% sure it's going to work and for a very long time, maybe it's not the time yet for you to play with AI. Right?
Exactly. Because the hype that we have for now, of course, I really understand all organizations that they don't want to stay in the end of the line of the technology, and just that they want to be up to date with everything. Maybe it's also like not the perfect way. Sometimes maybe we need to look on someone's mistakes.
Let's wait for others to make all the mistakes and then we just implement it easily, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That may be the strategy for some. How many rules was this? Was it
10?
10 of, very good. Okay, so those were Dagmara's 10 golden rules for managing AI projects. I think it would make a great article for our knowledge section of our webpage.
We can follow it.
Okay, that would be great. Daga, thank you so much for joining this episode of the podcast and for sharing your thoughts on and your experiences on AI projects. This is something that a lot of companies are struggling with, so I hope the listeners found some points that will help them do things better, or at least avoid some of the most common mistakes. So thanks again, and probably in a few months we can come back to the discussion and see what happened in the meantime.
And you know what I'm worried about, that in a few months we can also put all those rules to the bin or to the garbage, because something will change. Okay. But we are open for this and waiting for the good future.
Thank you, Dagmara.
Thank you, Andrzej.
And that's our delivery for this episode. Hopefully it arrived on time, within budget, and didn't hallucinate any strange new features along the way. Domo arigato for downloading this packet of information into your brains. We know your time is more valuable than a clean data set, so we truly appreciate you spending it with us. A huge thank you to our guest, Dagmara Sysuła, the battle-hardened delivery manager who navigated us through the chaos without a single Jira ticket getting lost. And of course to Anna Cubal, our own master of delivery, who produces this show from the legendary Waterfall studio, our very own development environment. If this episode helped resolve some of your project dependencies, hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, and tell your team about us. Got a story about an AI project gone rogue? A question that even a large language model can't answer? Drop us a line. We love hearing from you. Until next time, may your data be clean and your stakeholders reasonable. Matane.